What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the show. So today we're going to take a look and a listen to Representative Kustoff. He's going to be talking about Social Security reform and potentially a Social Security increase. I don't know exactly his stand, so we're going to try to figure that out in this video. But first off, you guys can do me a favor. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit that little bell notification, and then click all. By clicking all, you'll get notified anytime we post a video. We do daily videos here, so by clicking the bell notification and clicking all, you should be getting updated every day. And just a reminder, thank you for your support. I really appreciate it. And one more way to support us is by joining our membership. Just click the join button below. You'll get customized emojis as well as custom badges. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at Representative Kustoff, ask questions, and make some statements about Social Security reform. Here we go.
The chair now recognizes Mr. Kustoff for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you for the witnesses for appearing today. If I could, Mr. Goss, if I could ask a question more on process than substance for a moment. I'm a big believer that we can always look to history to when we are trying to address issues and problems and see what was done right and see what was done wrong. From a historical perspective, giving guidance to us, can you talk about the 1983 process and lessons that we can learn right and wrong to help direct us?
Wonderful question. Thanks very much. And I was actually there working with Moynihan and Dole and others throughout the Greenspan Commission and after. It was a wonderful process. I would say that what we really need to do is to do that more and more often, to have the kind of discussion we're having today, to talk about the possibilities through the Greenspan Commission and through the conference committee that actually developed the 83 amendments. We made a lot of progress. One of the shortfalls that we had at the time was computers have advanced a little bit since 1983. We were not able to overnight develop a full annual projection of what the implications of reform would be at that time. We're now able to do that literally overnight. For example, the fact that we had the big rise up in trust fund reserves expected in the 83 amendments, and then dropping down at the end. Had we had more time, we might have been able to smooth that out and been in better shape. But we're now in much better shape to do that. If I might just add, by the way, I think Phil and I can have to talk because our projected shortfall for the calendar year 2024 for the OESDI program as a whole, our reduction in our trust fund reserves is $100 billion. I think I heard $300 billion. What's curious here is that, in fact, from the 2023 trustees report last year to the new one, the economy did so much better in 2023 that actually we're in better shape now. And here's the really good news. The end of 2023 and so far in 2024, the economy is actually operating better now than we even had included in our 2024 trustees report. I assume that's probably the same for the CBO projections. So I'm not quite sure why CBO is seeing a $300 billion drop in trust fund reserves, where the trustees, on what are conservative assumptions so far for 2024, are seeing only a $100 billion drop.
Are there other lessons, good or bad, that we can learn from the 1983 process?
I think the lesson that we learned then was that there was great cross-aisle discussion, bicameral, bipartisan. It was a wonderful experience dealing with people all looking towards where we were. Now, of course, the one shortfall was that it was so late in the game,
right,
as Barry mentioned earlier. So the fact that we're now roughly 10 years before the point of reaching reserve depletion is wonderful. If we could have that kind of cross the aisle discussion and come to serious discussion about what we want to do for the American people, that would be wonderful. So there was great.
You know, that's interesting what he's saying there when it comes to, reaching across the aisle, Democrats and Republicans working together to reform Social Security. We don't have that right now. We don't have Democrats and Republicans working together on really anything. And that's the tragedy. That's what we're looking at right now. We have the opportunity. We know in 10 years or 11 years, we're going to be looking at a trust fund that will be completely depleted. When it comes to Social Security benefits, we'll see a 23% cut. We know that that's going to happen, but you don't have both sides working together to try to come to some type of resolution and help the American people. That's what's really, really sad.
Great bipartisan discussion back in the day, but it was very late in the game. We're now in a nice position of being 10 years before reserve depletion to be able to hopefully come up with a good approach.
Thank you, Mr. Goss. Mr. Houston, can I talk to you about your report for CRS? You have a section in there about interest income. And you show the disparity in interest income to about 2008, 2009, 2010, and then it drops off. Can you walk us through the early 2000s to about 2009, 2010, and walk us through the present as it relates to interest income and its relevance?
Sure. So as I had mentioned in my oral and my written testimony, there's three sources of revenues to the trust funds. One is the payroll taxes, another is taxation on benefits, and in years where there's excess tax revenues, those excess funds get invested in interest-bearing government securities. And then the trust fund earns interest on those, and that becomes the third source of revenue. Interest income that is not needed to pay benefits gets credited back to the trust funds, and the trust funds never needed to rely on that interest income till about 2009, 2010. Starting in 2009, the cost rates started to exceed the income rates, and the income stream started to be used as a means to help pay benefits. That's been moving forward up until 2021, when in addition to the interest income, the program has also needed to rely in part on the trust fund assets themselves to help pay benefits.
Good. Thank you very much. My time has expired. I yield back.
I would ask for just a little bit of leeway here from my colleagues before I call on Ms. Moore. Dr. Swagel, I believe that I saw you wanted to respond to the question about the difference between Social Security's estimates and CBO's estimate on the withdrawal of the $100 billion versus $300 billion.
Yeah. I mean, and
if you could make this quick.
Yeah, sure. Of course, there's lots of numbers. So it's $150 billion now that the trust fund expenditures exceed the income, and that's rising to $500 billion in our projections by 2034.
Okay.
Okay, so that was Representative Kustoff asking questions of the experts when it comes to Social Security reform. I don't think we learned much there. I don't. And I couldn't really get an idea of where he wants to go when it comes to reforming Social Security. Is he one that wants to raise the full retirement age up, or does he want to expand Social Security? I couldn't really get a read on the questioning when he was asking the different questions. He was just talking a lot about the numbers. So when I hear lawmakers talk a lot about the numbers, that concerns me, because if they're talking really about the numbers, then maybe they want to make some cuts to the program, or they think that we're spending money on the program in ways that we shouldn't be spending money. So that's always concerning. But when it comes down to it, and I've stated this before and I'll state it again, when it comes to Social Security, the money is coming from the trust funds as well as the payroll contribution, and that is all. We're not getting money from the general fund. We're not adding to the national debt. Social Security does not do that. People who are working are contributing. They're paying into the payroll contribution, and we have two trust funds that have money that's set aside specifically for Social Security. So that's how it's funded. But we'll have to see. I'm going to do a little bit more research on Representative Kustoff and see how he feels, if he's mentioned anything about Social Security reform or Social Security expansion or anything like that in the past. If you guys have any questions, let me know in the comments below. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe for more, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye.